Kai Kara France, fresh off your first TKO stoppage in the UFC. Just first of all, man, how did it feel to see Rogerio Bontorin go down like he did?
You have all these dreams of how the fight will go play out, in your head, and you visualize it so much, and yeah, it still hasn't kind of sunk in that it actually happened, and just proud of myself, for I guess coming off a loss and just going into this fight with a fresh start, positive mentality and telling myself I'm the best in the world. I've just got to show everyone. So yeah, it all, well, at the start, I had to go through a bit of a tight spot, but I trust my training and I trust my preparation. So I knew that I would be able to get out of those positions, and then once we got it back to the feet, it was back into my world. So there's no secret. I like to keep fights standing, and once I found my range, I just had to let the cannon go. Just had to sit on it and find his chin, and it was right there. So had to triple up on the right hand, and once he face planted and hit his head on the mat, that's why I walked away. I knew it was a wrap, and Herb Dean, not waving it off straight away, but he pretty much grabbed me and pushed me to the side. So I knew that was kind of enough. But when I walked over, did a full lap, Eugene was like, "Hey, it's not finished yet." He never waved it off. Go over and finish it. So that's what I ran over. And, lucky I didn't hit him, but I kind of wish I did now. He's been online saying Herb Dean saved the win, got me the win. But when you hit your head on the mat like that, it's a nice way to get concussion, and I saved his life pretty much by not following up. So he can say what he wants, but the better fighter won on the day, and just can't count me out. I'm dangerous in this division, so not many flyweights have knockout power, but I'm starting to feel comfortable in there, and living up to my nickname finally.
Yeah, after years of the line being, this time I want to live up to my nickname and get that knockout. What's the line going to be now?
Just don't take your eyes off the fight, because I've just shown that I can get it done in one round. Even if my chips are down and that's not going my way, it only needs to be one shot and it can all be over. So yeah, it's an exciting time, and I'm just proud of myself for just backing myself and getting in there and facing my fear. So many doubts in your mind that come into it and fight week and fight night, but you just got to block it out. I always visualize this imagery of someone pulling a thread of a shirt, and that's you pulling on self-doubt. And if you pull it too enough, it's going to unravel, and that's when you're going to sabotage your performance. So right from the get-go, just if those thoughts came into my mind and kind of I never thought about it for 1 second. I just cut it straight away and told myself I'm the best in the world. And then once you got in there in the ring, I was just comfortable. Everything kind of was happening in slow motion. You find that flow state, and I work a lot with David Neath and David Wood, the breathing coach. So they both intertwine. Fighting is so much. It's all mental, and if you can't control your emotions, then you've already lost the fight. So being in those tough positions where I'm getting strangled, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. This is his world, but it was never tight enough for me to even feel threatened about tapping. And I'm not gonna be tapping. I've got a different I guess drive to fight now, having a son, and I just had so much to prove in this fight, and I'm glad it all worked out on the biggest stage in the world, and I'm just glad to be back in the win column and finally getting a finish.
It's interesting you mentioned the mental side of the game. When we spoke to Eugene before the fight, he said that you guys had been working on a lot of that stuff after your last fight, and obviously it showed in there. You look very calm and not panicking when you got a guy like Rogerio on your back. When you were down there, I know a lot of people see City Kickboxing and just think these guys don't grapple. you feel like you showed people that, you know, just because there's kickboxing in the name of the gym, these are mixed martial artists.
Yeah, definitely. It's satisfying knowing that, you know, you took him to where his biggest strength was, and you got out of it, and you solved the puzzle and got back to my feet, and you know, it only took 10 more seconds and I got him out of there. So it's just nice, and yeah, to show everyone, you know, I have been working on the holes in my game, being more well rounded, and not just relying on one thing that got me to the big show. So yeah, it's just more complete, and who knows, by the end of 2021 I might have a purple belt. We'll see.
And yet another bonus to your credit. I know a lot of people still like to talk down the flyweights, but I mean, man, you're racking up those. You're making people tune in, that's for sure. I mean, it's an exciting division. Like, they were on show for that whole card, like the 3 fights in a row. I mean, they were all really, really good fights.
Yeah, it's definitely a great position that I'm in, being my third bonus now. Win or lose, you know, people are gonna be tuning in, and having Dana White talk me up on fight week, you know, saying this is a fight to watch in the prelims. The if you know, now you know. You know, living up to that, and using that pressure, and you know, getting the finish. And now I was the only flyweight to get a finish that night out of the other 3 belts, so it's good to kind of separate myself on the pack. You know, even though some of them are ranked higher than me, people aren't really talking about those fights. They're only talking about the highlight reel finish, and it was on ESPN, so you know, everyone got to watch it for free. So it all just worked out, you know. So it's such a crazy thing about this fight game. You know, you're one fight away from you know, being the most talked about thing that weekend, and that's the fastest way to get to a title shot, is just to making statements, and being exciting. And I guess people are feeling that. That's what separates me from other flyweights. You know, there's guys in this division that have been staples, and that top 5, but you know, get 2 or 3 finishes in a row and you leapfrog all of them and you get a title shot. So UFC's out to put on exciting fights, and the best matchups that fans want to see. And I just got to keep, you know, delivering these I guess world class performances. And you know, Dana White likes me, and I guess that's a big asset to have if you're in his good books. So yeah, we're in a good place with everything. And you know, I can't wait to get home and finish this 2 weeks quarantine and enjoy the win with my newborn son, and my partner and my family. You know, this is the reason why I do this, you know, to support my family, and to better our lives. So to get out of quarantine, I think I get out the day before my birthday. So perfect timing. Get to celebrate my 28th birthday, and get to celebrate this win. And yeah, it's awesome to see, you know, the smiles you can put on people's faces. I could definitely feel the support back home, and you know, have my friends and family all reach out to me, and you know, just being so happy for me, and just feeling that love and support. You know, that means everything to me and everything to us over here, almost halfway across the world. So yeah, it's good times.
Just back to Rogerio basically going on like he has after the fight. How surprised were you to see him come out with that attitude?
Yeah, it sucks. It's a pretty bad attitude to have. You can't grow as a martial artist and as a person if you can't, you know, be honest with yourself. Um, if someone face plants in the gym after you hit them with a right hand, you know, the fight's gonna be stopped straight away. And that's why I walked away. I did him a favor by not following up, because I felt like the damage had already been done. And then when he tried to walk, you know, he stumbled again, fell on his hands. So yeah, it's just what it is in the fight game. And now he's going on about saying the ref saved the fight and all this, but the whole world knows that you're delusional, mate. Yeah, I think you had to take 6 month suspension, medical suspension, because you took a bit of a head knock, 3 flush right hands, and yeah, it's not a normal stoppage to be complaining about. Everyone that watched this fight knows that it was the right stoppage, but the only thing that was confusion, well, that the confusion was Herb Dean, you know, not waving it off straight away that like he usually would, but you know, he grabbed me fully. That's why I didn't follow up. But you know, had to pay homage to Mark Hunt. He's the lead horse, and this is a signature move. But you know, I'm just paying homage to him when I do the walk off as well. So yeah, it was a great night.
I don't know if everyone agrees with me on this, but I love a walk off. It just looks so cool.
Yeah, or like it's not my first time doing it, so I know when I land and it's that connection's full blast. You just know, and that's it's instinct. You just know when you land on the button. So yeah, I'm glad it all worked out. Glad to get the finish. Glad to get the bonus, and glad to be back in New Zealand. You know, doing this quarantine, and then I can celebrate with everyone.
On your family, we know from the ESPN reports that you know, after your son Kobe was born, you were back in the gym, just straight away after, like only a couple of hours, maybe.
Yeah.
What was it like to have to leave your family for a couple of weeks to go overseas to go to work, knowing that, you know, Kobe had just been born and your partner's pretty new to this?
Yeah, definitely. It's a massive sacrifice that you know, us as athletes, and especially in these times where we're not just going away for like a week, you know, we are going away for a bit of time. Lucky enough, it's, you know, only going to be just under 4 weeks all up. So I've got so much support around me from my family and my partner's family that we can lean on. And you know, it's always hard, but there's a bigger sacrifice that's happening. And when it all works out like this, you know, this is why you do it, because you know, these are life moments, and now the whole world knows who my son is, and I got to show everyone, you know, this is why I do this, and this is what motivates me, this is what gets me out of bed. And I said it right from the start when I was walking out. You know, they're talking about how I want to be a role model for my son, and show the world how if you're faced with adversity, you just got to push through and keep turning up. And I was just living proof of that night. There was nothing going to stop me from winning. And yeah, it's one of those things where I was just fully confident in myself, telling myself I'm the best in the world. I just have to show everyone. And I was pretty emotional after. And it was awesome to talk to Joe Rogan and, you know, say what I wanted, and redeem myself back in Vegas, because last time I fought here was against Brandon Moreno, and I lost that fight. So good to get back in the win column, as well as represent New Zealand in the best way I know how, and that's by walkaway knockouts.
And of course, calling your son bro, which everyone appreciated.
Yeah, that was just off the cusp, you know. You just got to go with what's natural, and they just felt right. So yeah, it was pretty funny when I look back on it now.
Well, now you've won the battle for the number 8 ranking. They decided to go one better and make you number 7 again. Looking at who's available, I think you got Askarov, Pantoja, Benavidez, if he's still going to be fighting, and Royval. Of those 4 guys, is there anyone in particular that you'd like to see next?
You know, I don't have a name in mind right now, but I'll sit down with Eugene and the rest of the coaches, and we'll come up with a name that suits us best. But you know, for now, I don't want to rush to get back in the octagon just yet. You know, I've got a bit of quality time that I need to, you know, prioritize with my family, and make sure, you know, I'm taking care of all of that and being the best father I can be, as well as, you know, the best fighter. So it's all about balance. You know, I gotta wait for the right time, and I'll be back in there soon enough. You know, mid quarter of this year. I'll be back in there with a few other teammates that are, you know, fighting again. So we'll be back, and it'll be the right name. So I can see myself definitely, you know, getting a top 5. I know Tim Elliott's been trying to call me out, but when you're a gatekeeper, there's nothing for me to fight you. You know, he is an exciting fighter and he's a good name, but you know, I don't want to take a back step and fight someone less than me when, you know, I've just come off a good knockout and I want to use that momentum. So for now, you know, I'm just going to enjoy my time with my family, and then we'll get back to work.
How soon after the fight did you call back home? And how was that moment, being able to to call your partner and just be revel in the win.
Yeah, so I had quite a lot of media when I got out of the ring and went backstage, but it's like an hour after all of that stuff. I got back to the hotel and I called my family, and everyone was so excited and just so relieved that it all worked out. People were on the edge of their seats the whole fight, and just so much more riding on it when you're doing this for a higher purpose, not just for myself, for bettering my family's life and everyone around me. So it's the best feeling in the world when you can call home and you've got some great news to share with them, and they've gone through this emotional roller coaster with you, and you live for these moments where you can impact people around you and put a smile on your loved ones' faces.
And just on quarantine, you're obviously in Christchurch this time around. If anyone who follows you guys on the socials would have seen, are there any sort of differences to the quarantine experience? I know you're only a couple of days in, but compared from Auckland to Christchurch?
It's I guess a lot more slower down here. It's a lot less. It's quieter, which is nice. We're in the city, but it's not as loud as Auckland. You can definitely feel a bit more relaxed down here. We're comfortable though. We've got bikes. We're all roomed pretty close to each other, and we're getting looked after good here. So no, so far so good. And after the fights like this and after these big trips, it's just nice to kind of unwind. We do a little bit of training and stuff, but it's nice to just catch up on sleep and just listen to your body, because you take such a toll physically. You just want to be able to rest for a few days before you actually start to do a bit more with your days. So I've got a bit of admin to do. I've before this fight I did just buy a house, and it's getting built as we speak, so it's keeping me busy with all the plans and stuff. And these bonuses definitely help with paying off a house. It's not cheap in Auckland, so it's such a blessing, and you just got to count your blessings when it all works out like this. It's an amazing feeling, and I'm just so humbled by this journey that I'm on, because you feel the highest highs and the lowest lows, but you just got to ride it out, because this is how the sport is. And that's just the way of martial arts. It teaches you how to adapt and come back from losses, and ride these highs and just soak it all in, because they're not forever. And when it all works out, like I said, it's such a blessing. So we're in a good place.
I guess just finally, I know you're rooming with Israel. Who's beating who at Warzone?
This is a fight that I don't even need I can't even fake it that I'm good. I'm pretty bad. So Israel, he's the trigger man. He's the Call of Duty king. Even in the gym lockdown, he was always on the controller. We've got a good setup. He's got his PS5, so he's sorted.
All good, man. Well, I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully see you in the cage again in the not too distant future, but obviously not too soon.
Yeah, bro. Easy, man. Thanks for your time.